Hello, my friends. Welcome again to the Radio Learning Series program produced by Rwanda Education Board with support from UNICEF in collaboration with Inspire, Educate, and Empower Rwanda. Today, we have a very, very interesting session. Before we go to today's session, does any one of you remember what we did last time when we attended the radio session? Very good. Remember, I told you always make sure you have your notebook and take as many notes as you can. My friends, let me remind you, last time we looked at the forms of education. And we saw three main forms of education. We saw the formal education. We also saw the informal education. And we also saw the non-formal education. And as teachers in the making, we said that it is very important for every teacher to bear in mind all those three forms of education and how they contribute to the day-to-day learning of a learner. I hope you have your pen and you have your notebook. So my friends, today we are going to do something special. We are going to look at pedagogical documents. I repeat, we are going to be focusing on pedagogical documents. What do I mean here? So pedagogical documents. Any teacher or someone who is training to be a teacher must bear in mind that in order for you to be called a teacher, there are a set of tools that you must be able to produce. So today's session is specifically targeting all the Year 2 students, teachers, studying in the 4 options. And that is early childhood and lower primary education, maths and science education, social studies education, and language education. But I also want to take this opportunity to welcome Year 3 students. Year 3 student teachers, please also attend to this lesson. I know you have studied this before, but it is also important for you to review this again because, as you know, pedagogical documents are always very important documents that we always use even within our school practice time. Now, as we start, as usual, make sure you are in an environment that has no disturbance because I want you to listen, take notes, and for further clarifications, if there's anything that you feel you've not really understood very well, take note of that. And when you go back to college, discuss that with your Foundations of Education tutor. Thank you very much. Dear students, remember, we are looking at pedagogical documents. And depending on the context, they've got different names. In some places, they would call it teacher instructional materials, or teacher didactic materials, or teacher teaching resources, or teacher pedagogical tools, or teacher pedagogical materials, whatever name you give it. But I want to stress and emphasize that as you are preparing and planning to become teachers, know that it is very, very important for you to bear in mind the relevancy of pedagogical materials. Now, my friends, I have a small question for you. I know at college you have seen, and like Year 3, you have done some school practice. There are some tools or some documents that you were required to produce. Do you remember some of those documents? Or there are some documents that your teachers at college or your tutors at college always do and always carry. Take your pen. I want you to make a list of a few that you still remember. You have a second to do that. Very great. Okay, so I know if you haven't used them or if you haven't made them, but at least you've seen your teachers using them or carrying them at college. So, Year 2 students, I want you really to have this. And we know that at the end of this session, at least we should be able to identify what required pedagogical documents for a professional teacher. And of course, we don't stop at identifying them, but we also look at their relevance or their importance in as far as the teaching profession is concerned. Very good. So my friends, we want to try and highlight some of the main pedagogical documents that we must expect every teacher to have. Look at your list as I mentioned this that you made a few seconds ago. So, there are a number of tools or pedagogical documents that every teacher must be in possession with. 1, a copy or copies of the subject syllabi. By the way, syllabi is the plural form of the syllabus. If it is one syllabus, we could say syllabus. If there are more than one, then we say syllabi. So, as a teacher, you are expected to have a syllabus because it is one of the main guiding documents that describes or that highlights all the lessons to be taught in a particular set of time. Now, apart from the syllabi, we also have got schemes of work. When you have been assigned a class to teach, you are given a syllabus. So the next thing you do as a teacher, it is to make a scheme of work. What does a scheme of work mean? My dear students, a scheme of work is very important because that is where now we get to make content guided by the syllabus and, of course, in reference to the textbooks. And we get to have a breakdown of all those units into topics, then into subtopics. If I say subtopics, those are the manageable 40 minutes, 1 hour teaching lessons. So schemes of work are very important. And normally with a scheme of work, it covers a set number of lessons that students are supposed to be studying within a term. In most cases, we make termless schemes of work. So when you make a scheme of work, so the next thing you'll have to do is a lesson plan. My friends, a lesson plan, that is a teacher's daily tool. A very good teacher is supposed to have a lesson plan for everyday lesson that he or she is going to be teaching. If you do not lesson plan, my friends, my advice is don't stand in front of students. Don't stand in front of children. Bad teachers don't lesson plan. And when they don't lesson plan, that's not good. So we encourage every teacher for every lesson, you must make a lesson plan. It is very important. Then we also have a class diary. What does a class diary? What do we do with a class diary? Of course, we know a diary. We get to record all that we have gone through with children every day. And I want to remind people, it is always very important. Fill your class diary. Very, very important. Another important document is what we call a class register or the attendance register. A register is a very important document because within a register, you have all the details of the students of your class. And a class register is another important document because you are supposed to take the register every day, because it helps you to know how many students attended and how many did not, such that you are able to implement further action. What do I mean by further action? Because you need to make a follow-up and know if students so and so did not attend school yesterday. So the next day, you have to make it a point and know what happened to that student. Even on that very day, if you have contacts of the parents or the guardians. So a class attendance register is very important. And again, it helps you as a teacher to know how many came to your class that day. And then we also have these other documents that are also very important. So we do the lesson notes or the notebooks. So we have the homework, we have the tests and the exams or the mark sheets. We always do the mark sheets, and sometimes we do the progress sheets where we get to record the students' progress within the tests that we do, within the homeworks that we give, within the monthly tests or anything that you have given to them, and you score them. You're supposed to record the marks. And this is going to be helping. So, in most cases, there are many more other pedagogical documents that are very important. But these are the main ones. And I want to emphasize that teachers in the making, you must bear into mind that these documents are very, very important, because without them, then you are not a teacher. So you should be able to every day have your lesson plan. Every day must make sure that you refer to the textbook. Every day you have got the scheme of work. You have the class diary. And all these documents must be filled. Now, when I talk of that, in most cases, quite a number of you are, I guess now, especially those who have already done the school practice, you are now familiar with some of these documents, or you have seen your teachers at college using them. So the lesson plans and the subject syllabi that you learned in year one during the micro-teaching sessions, currently you can make a lesson plan using pre-primary, primary, and depending on your option of study. So today's lesson is going to help you know more about what are those other remaining pedagogical documents. Now, my dear friends, as you can see, there are many pedagogical documents. And I know quite a number of you are very curious to know, how does a teacher manage to have all these requirements or all these documents ready? Now, my friends, don't be afraid. The list of pedagogical documents is long, yes, but they are not prepared at the same time, or you don't fill them every day. For instance, we do a scheme of work at the beginning of the term. And that scheme of work has got an outline of all the topics we intend to cover within a term. Whereas a lesson plan, that is going to be a daily plan. In other words, take an example. So if you are cooking food and you are a restaurant, every day you have to show a menu. This is what I'm going to be serving you today. And within that menu, you know very well what you are supposed to put in for the results to come out the way that will make the clients happy. So lesson planning is very vital and very important, because it helps us to put into consideration the individual learning styles of our learners. In other words, as we plan, we cater for all the children that we have in class. Those who learn by seeing, those who learn by hearing, the kinesthetic students who learn by doing and saying. But we also have the tactile students. Have you ever been in a class and you get to hear a student saying, "Teacher, let me see," and they are saying, "Let me see," raising their hand? So such students we call them tactile students. They learn by touching. So the scheme of work, that's what I've been saying, it is always prepared at the beginning of the year or the term. And this now, it helps you to organize the learning content in a timely manner and according to the school calendar. Today's lesson, which is about pedagogical documents, so in accordance with Unit 1 from Year 2 Foundations of Education syllabus, there are several pedagogical documents a professional teacher in Rwanda should have in class and use adequately. As future teachers, you must know that they are important and you should be able to prepare and use them. So you are therefore invited to follow this lesson very, very attentively. Are we together, my friends? Are you still following? Are you still taking notes? Perfect. Now, my friends, I said we have several documents and we also have the assessment notebooks for teachers, exams for marking, schemes and mark records or the progress sheets are all prepared and filled when assessment is taking place. So when we talk of all these documents, you don't fill them day by day. So now when we talk of the class diary, this one is filled daily. When we talk of the lesson plan, this must be done every day. I repeat, a teacher must do a lesson plan every day. In addition, all documents are not prepared by teachers. There are some that are designed at national level, for example, like the curriculum that we use. So these include, we get the school calendar from the national level and the syllabuses. So all these come down and these are the ones that we use. Now, students, what do you think should a teacher prepare? Why? And why do you think a teacher should prepare these pedagogical documents? Let us see some of the reasons why it is mandatory for every teacher to prepare these documents. These documents are very important and you must have them at hand. So the pedagogical documents, they are used by the teacher for a short and a long term. And at the same time, our educational supervisors, when they come to check on us, to support us, they always refer to these documents because they are records showing what we have been doing. Now, my friends, as we wind up this lesson, I want to remind you one thing, that the homework I want to leave you with, make a list of those documents, and I want you to order them in a way that there are those that we do at the beginning of the year, those that we fill daily, and those that come from the national level. That is your homework for today. Thank you so much for listening in, and please revise your books and use this time to stay home. See you next time. Bye-bye.